Except today is multiplication and division. And I can't stress enough, children, okay, that you must sit down and actually look at the problem. In other words, think a little bit. Okay? Because too often I see something like this. B divided by 12 equals 4. And people automatically assume because the first fact family they think of is 3 times 4 is 12, that 3 is the answer there. But it is not. Okay? It isn't. If you do what we said, remember what we said to do yesterday? That was to think of an easier problem. Let's say I have 8 divided by 2 equals 4. If I am missing this first number here, what do I do to 2 and 4 to get 8? Okay, multiply. And that would be the same thing I would do here. The answer is actually 12 times 4, which is 48. That's what goes for the letter B there. So you can't just do this without thinking, otherwise you are going to get a bunch wrong and then you'll wonder why. Now usually when they show multiplication division problems, they can look like this. 6 times B equals 36, or maybe it's X. Shouldn't use X because it looks too much like times 4 equals 36. The nice thing with multiplication is really it doesn't matter. If you're missing a digit in multiplication, you're always going to do the same thing. In other words, 6 times what number is 36? The letter B here, you divide in this case. Same thing here, 4 times 9. Okay, you divide by, you get 9 for your answer. But it's when it comes to division, just like with addition, subtraction, when it comes to division, you gotta keep track or pay attention. So I will, in the book, will a lot of times do this. 8 over m equals 4, and m over 8 equals 4. Remember, this is just another way to write division, even though it looks like fractions. This is the same thing as saying 8 divided by m equals 4, and this is the same thing as saying m divided by 8 equals 4. Done the same way, but they won't be the same answer. If you're thinking about an easier problem, let's just say what? 6 divided by 3 is 2. If you're missing the bottom, what do I do with these two to get 3? Multiply or divide, Sammy? What do I do with 6 and 2 to get 3?
Oh, yeah.
Divide. So I'm going to do the same thing here. 8 divided by 4, m is going to equal 2. I can use the same thing here. 6 over 3 equals 2. What do I do if I'm missing the top? What do I do with 3 and 2 to get 6? You multiply. So in this case, you get 32. Isn't that probably one of the more exciting things that you're going to come across there, Cabran?
So when you're missing the top, you multiply, and when you're missing the bottom, you divide?
If that's the way it works, sure. And if you want to write it out that way, but to me, it's just as easy to think of a simple problem and go, that's what I do. Because you're going to, how are you going to remember that? Other than looking at your notes or whatever. To me, you know, when you think of an easy problem that works, whether it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, you just sit down and do it. Yeah, you could write down a whole list of rules and say, okay, if I'm missing the bottom number, I divide. If I'm missing the top number, I multiply. That's fine, but I want to give you something where you don't really even have to look. You can just kind of breeze right through it. Let me give you a couple here, and then we'll call it somewhat of a day. How about this one? You give me the answers to this. A times 7 is 91. 20 times B is 440. N over 5 is 60. And 360 over X is 30. Got me down to the answers to those as best you can. Got them already? Almost. And there's a question mark on this page. In the interest of time here, this one here, A times 7 is 91. Hopefully, did you think of an easy problem? Let's just say 4 times 3 is 12. If you're missing the top, what do you do with these two? You should have divided 91 by 7, and you ended up with, Kaylee?
13.
13 sounds like a winner to me. A equals 13. Stop me there if you didn't get that or you didn't understand why. Again, this is going under the assumption that you can multiply and divide. Missing the middle number, really it's the same thing with multiplication. What do I do with 12 and 4 if I'm missing the middle there? How do I get 3 there? Again, it's division. So hopefully you can divide 440 by 20, which gives you, looks like 22. Yeah. That's when you say, yep, that's what I got. Here's where it gets a little goofier. These are the division ones. I don't know, just pick an easy problem like 15 maybe divided by 3 is 5. If you're missing the top, what are you going to do, Noah?
We're missing the top.
All right, Bella, if you're missing the top, what do you do?
Divide.
If I was missing this top here, this is my easy problem. What do I do with 3 and 5 to get 15?
And multiply.
Right, so you should have taken 60 times 5 and gotten 300, correct?
Yep.
I didn't hear a lot of yeses out there. How many people got 300?
I did.
If you didn't get 300, what happened?
We didn't do these.
How many people divided? How come you divided, can I ask? Madison, why did you divide? Okay, again, you have to, and that's what I got done talking about all that. You need to think of an easy problem and say, if I'm missing the top, or do like Cabron said, write it in your notes. If you're missing the top, then multiply. If you're missing the bottom, you go back to the problem we did here, which was 15 divided by 3 equals 5. If you're missing this bottom number, what do you do with these two to get a 3? This one's the division one. You need to take 360 and divide by 30, which is what? 30, 12. If you rely on just what you think, you're probably going to get it wrong.